What is up, Dub Nation? It is Friday, July 10th, 2026, and you are locked in to the Dub Network, the show, the new show that bleeds the old English tea. And baby, we are in the middle of something special down at the corner of Michigan and Trumbull, or I should say Mount Calm and Woodward. 5 straight wins. Read it again, 5. The Detroit Tigers just took the broom to the Oakland Athletics, swept them clean out of Comerica Park, and they did it on a night where a kid making his major league debut walked to the plate for the very first time and hit the very first pitch that mattered, 425 feet into the night. You literally cannot make this up. So here's what's on the menu today. We got the sweep and the fairy tale debut. We got the standings because this team is climbing. We got the biggest story in all of baseball parked right in our lap. What in the world do the Tigers do with Tarek Skubal? We got tonight's game against Philadelphia, and we're going to take a lap around the sports world. LeBron, Kawhi, and a Red Wings captain who wants out. Grab your coffee, let's ride, and welcome to the all-new Dub Network. Let's get right into it. Last night's game, final from Comerica Park, Tigers 4, Athletics 1, and that completes a 3-game sweep of Oakland, which is now the Tigers' third straight series sweep. This club is playing the best baseball it's played all year, and it starts on the mound. Your starter last night, Framber Valdez. Framber was filthy. His line, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, and that 1 run was unearned. 0 walks and 9 strikeouts. That's a season high for him. No free passes. He was pitching good ground balls where he wanted them, and that changeup was falling off the table. When your guy gives you 7 innings plus of 1-run ball and saves the bullpen in a sweet spot, you take that and you frame it. Now, the fun part of last night's game, the Tigers hit 3 home runs, and I love who they came from because it wasn't guys you'd usually circle. Homer number 1 off the bench, Jake Rogers, your catcher, bottom of the 3rd, solo shot. And get this, that's Rogers' 2nd homer in 2 nights and his 3rd all year. This dude's supposed to be chilling on the bench, and he's out here providing when we need it. Homer number 2, Zach McKinstry, bottom of the 5th, 2-run bomb. His 4th of the season. Z-Mac is a Swiss Army knife. Could be some talk with him as well around the trade deadline. Plays all over the diamond, runs the bases, and drops a 2-run shot when you need a little breathing room. And that was the game winner technically right there. And then homer number 3, the one I've been waiting for all morning, Eduardo Valencia, 26-year-old catcher, got the call from AAA Toledo yesterday because Dylan Dingler was banged up. He's got a right hand contusion. That's what they're calling it right now. So Valencia's up, and he comes off the bench as a pitch hitter in the 7th inning, works the count, sees a fastball, and launches it. 425 feet to dead center. First pitch he's ever saw in the big league that counted. Gone. And here's what gives me chills. Valencia is now the 10th player in Detroit Tigers history to homer in his major league debut. And the first one to do it since, look at this, Akil Baddoo back in 2021. If you're around for the Baddoo magic in 21, you know exactly the electricity that sent through the ballpark. This kid circled the bases like he's done it his whole life. That right there is why you don't miss a single night of baseball. You never know when you're going to miss a young man's first best forever memory happen live right in front of you. Welcome to the show, Eduardo. What a moment we got to see last night. Okay, so let's talk about where this puts us because the vibes have completely flipped. The Tigers are 43-50 on the season. Now, yes, I know they're still under 500. Hold your emails and phone calls, but take a look at the trend. 5 wins in a row, 7 wins in the last 8 games. A month ago, we were all writing an obituary. Now we're looking a little dangerous. Here's the standing picture. Detroit sits at 4th in the AL Central, 4.5 games back of first, and to top that vision is a traffic jam. The White Sox and the Guardians are basically tied for the lead, and the Twins are hanging on by a thread right there. Nobody in the division is running away with it anytime soon. It's wide open, which, trust me, matters a whole lot for the conversation we're about to have. And the bats are heating up with the weather. Torkelson has been the anchor in the middle of that order, along with Riley Green and McGonigal. Tork's up to about 15 homers right now. Rotations dealing, the lineup's waking up, and the Tigers are climbing at the exact right time. All right, so this is the story, really what everybody's been talking about since this time last year, not just in Detroit, but in all of baseball. Tarek Skubal, the 2-time reigning American League Cy Young winner back-to-back, the best pitcher on the planet, and he wears the old English D, at least for now. Here's the situation. As we know, Skubal is a free agent at the end of the season, and the trade deadline is August 3rd, which is just about 3 weeks and some change from tonight. And let me tell you, so far, he's earning every single dollar he's about to get. Looking at his 2026 so far after coming off and dealing with some injury, he's around 5-4 with a 3.06 ERA, 65 innings, 75 strikeouts for a .91 whip, and he's holding hitters to a 218 average. A strikeout an inning barely lets anybody on base. That is an ace in his absolute prime. if you ask me. So here's the fork in the road, and it's brutal. On one side, the cold, hard business side, the front office, Scott Harris's group has to ask the ugly question. If you don't believe you're going to sign a Boris client ace to a record-shattering $250 million contract this winter, do you trade him right now at the absolute peak of his value and bring back a mountain of young talent if that's attainable? Because the entire league is lined up outside the door waiting for answers and ready to take their shot at Skubal. The reporting has the Dodgers, the Padres, the Blue Jays, the Cubs, and the Yankees, Brewers, and the Pirates possibly all in on him. ESPN literally published 9 different mock trade packages. One of them had the Dodgers sending back a top 50 project, plus more young arms, and their own analyst called it an overpay, but said it'd be worth it for a shot at 3 straight championships at the same time. That is the kind of haul we're talking about if he were to go out the door and not be in Detroit anymore. Here's the other side. This team just won 5 in a row. This is 7 of their last 8, and this city is back in love with this ball club. You're going to rip the ace out of the clubhouse when this is all finally rolling. You're going to look at a fan base that just watched a kid homer in his debut and a rotation that's dealing and tell them, yeah, we're selling. The hot streak didn't just complicate the decision. It lit a fuse on it. So here's my take, and you can hold me to it on record right now. I am not trading Tarik Skubal this July, not this team. Here's my reasoning. You do not stumble into a generational back-to-back Cy Young arm very often. And when you've got one and your team is ascending, hopefully, and your division is wide open 4.5 game race, you do not raise the white flag in the middle of July. You go the other way. You add him. You add people around him. You go chase this wide open Central. And then this offseason, you back the Brinks truck all the way up in front of his door, and you do everything humanly possible to keep him. And if he still walks next winter, then you tip your cap and you take the compensatory draft pick and you just say thank you, and there's really not much you can do. But you do not sell the exact summer your city started believing again. Not for me, not a chance. Now, I'm always fair to the other side, so here it is. A rental ace on a sub-500 club is the single most valuable trade chip in the sport. The farm system could use an injection. The cold month still says this Tigers team is more likely to miss the playoffs than make them. That's a defensible baseball decision. If they do trade him, I just don't think it's the right one for the team when you have a generational talent like Skubal in this moment with the city buzzing. So tell me what you honestly think in the comments. I'm going to try to read all the comments, and I'm listening. Continuing on with the rest of the trade deadline, Skubal's the headliner, but he is not the only Tiger with a suitcase by the door as we count down to August 3rd. If Harris decides to sell or even just sells around the edges a little bit, names in play are stacked. Casey Mize, a rotation arm, drafted first overall by the Tigers back in the day, who is also a free agent after this year. And by the way, he's been really good, sporting a 2.64 ERA. Jack Flaherty, who keeps landing on every buy low target list in the league. And Gleyber Torres at second base is also going to be a free agent, though he's dealing with an injury right now, which muddies his market a little bit. Out of the bullpen, veteran relievers like Kyle Finnegan and Kenley Jansen are the classic deadline rentals that every contender comes sniffing around for late in July. So even in the best case, we're buyers and we're going for it world. The next 3 weeks in Detroit are going to be loud. Every time your phone buzzes, it might be the Tigers making a move. I'll be tracking every whisper of it right here every single morning. You can catch that stuff on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, and TikTok at TheDubbNetwork. Quick health check before we move on. Dylan Dingler, the all-star catcher, one of the rocks of the lineup, one of the best players in all of baseball, is out with a right-hand contusion right now. And remember, that's the injury that opened the door for Valencia's Magic last night. So keep an eye on his return timeline. I wish him a speedy recovery, and hopefully it's just a couple-game kind of thing because we do need him, especially if we're trying to make a push and make a point at this time in the year. And over in the other dugout, Oakland lost Zach Geloff to a knee issue after he crashed into the outfield wall. Wishing him a speedy recovery, and hopefully that is not a long injury as well. Now let's look ahead because the Tigers go for 6 straight tonight, and they open a weekend series with Philadelphia at Comerica. First pitch, 6:40 Eastern time. On the bump for the Detroit Tigers, Jack Flaherty, the same Flaherty we just mentioned in the trade talks. He takes the ball. He's 2-8 right now with a 4.60 ERA, but that win-loss record does not tell the whole story for a guy who's been pitching better than that as of late, and a big day for him does no harm to his trade stock at all. On the other side, Phillies send out veteran right-hander Aaron Nola Nola's been scuffling a little bit, 3-6 with a 5.87 ERA, and he's been giving up the long ball at a real high rate, and the Tigers have been hitting the long ball at a real high rate. So if the Tigers' bats stay hot, there are runs to be had tonight. And look at the weekend. We got teed up Saturday. It's Casey Mize against Philadelphia's Christopher Sanchez. And Sanchez has been an absolute stud at 10-4. Then Sunday, mark your calendars. It's Tarek Skubal himself taking the ball against Phillies ace Zach Wheeler, who's sitting at 9-1. That's going to be a big game. Going to be a great game to watch. I'm going to make sure I tune into that one. All right, so let's leave the diamond just for a second and take a lap around the rest of the sports world. Story one, and it's giant as always when talking about this guy. LeBron James is a free agent. The King opted out in Los Angeles and hit the open market, and the whole league is doing the math. The Warriors, the Cavs, the Heat, and the Sixers are all reportedly in the mix. And here's the juicy part. Stephen Curry is even out here publicly recruiting him. Steph said at a celebrity golf event, quote, "We obviously would love to play together. Hopefully it happens," and even admitted that the two of them have been texting about it. Now, Golden State reportedly cooled off a bit after Washington slammed the door on the Anthony Davis trade, so the money math got a little bit harder. But LeBron and Steph on the same floor at this stage in their careers, the basketball world would absolutely lose its mind, and LeBron is in no rush, so this might simmer all summer. Story number two, staying in LA, the Kawhi Leonard situation is frozen solid. Reporting says a potential Kawhi trade is on hold while the NBA works through an investigation involving the Clippers. I'm going to stay a little careful and factual here because it's an ongoing, newer, active league investigation matter. But the bottom line, one of the biggest potential dominoes of the entire NBA season is stuck in place until the league sorts it out. We're watching it closely. And story three, something here in Detroit that's been brewing for a couple months now as well. Red Wings fans, ears up. Your captain wants answers. In the NHL free agency swirl, the reporting has Dylan Larkin submitting a trade request a few months ago, listing teams that he would like to go to as Florida, Minnesota, and Vegas, and more recently Dallas, listed as his preferred landing spots. But Steve Yzerman, being Steve Yzerman, the word is he's absolutely in no hurry to move his captain, so he said he'll do what's in the best interest of his players. We'll see, and we'll follow that closely as that story develops more. Larkin may just end up in the Wings wheel still at the beginning of the season, and it's going to be up to him if he wants to play or not. All right, before I let you out of here, the bold prediction of the day, Dub Network style. Here it is, 3 parts. 1, the Tigers make it 6 in a row tonight. They get to Aaron Nola, and Jack Flaherty pitches his tail off. 2, Tarek Skubal is still a Detroit Tiger when the clock hits 0 on August 3rd. And 3, Eduardo Valencia goes deep at least one more time before the All-Star break. The kid's got some magic, and I'm riding it all the way. If those hit, come back to the next video and call me a prophet. If they don't, that's why I call them a bold prediction. Listen, if you rock with Detroit sports, if you want real information and opinions every single morning before your coffee even gets cold, do me one favor, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you never miss a show. Drop a comment. Are you trading Skubal? Are you keeping him? I read every single one of them. This has been the all-new Detroit-based Dub Network. I'm Cam. Keep it Detroit, keep it loud, and I'll catch you tomorrow or whenever I make the next video. See ya, and thanks for watching.